Hi guys, this is just a quick video on how to update your repo if you're out of date, if what's up on GitHub is ahead of where you're at on your machine that you want to work on. Okay, obviously it's very important that you're up to date before you start doing any work. It just makes life a little easier. Now, if you remember the last day, we created this repo on this machine. In which we created a Unity project called test in there. Okay, so it's repo and test, and if I wanted to know what that was attached to, I can right click. Now show more options here. Open Git Bash here. Now sometimes you might have to um, just open Git Bash and type cd and dir to get to the appropriate address. Okay, so in this case, mine was Rob's stuff desktop repo. So I'll just show. I suppose I should show you how to do that just in case. So you Git Bash. Git Bash is what we call the command line for Git, and you can pretty much do everything. Well, you can do everything from here without the Git GUI, but obviously the Git GUIs are designed to make life a little bit easier. So first of all, I know that from looking at this repo that if I look at this, just very quickly, I'll just double click it here, and if I was to copy the address as text, and this won't work, I'll just paste this in here. You can see it's d:, Rob stuff desktop. I just moved my my repo to, or my kind of document file stuff to my D drive because I was running out of space in my C drive. So I need to change to my C drive. So I change from the C. You can see up here. This is where it defaults to C:users Robert. So what we need is to change to the D drive. Okay, and if you remember, the directory was Rob stuff, the original. So here's Rob stuff here. So let's see if we can change into that directory. So we go cd Rob's stuff. Well, I think it's case insensitive, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, cd Rob's, is it stuff? Okay, okay, so it's I'm just trying to get the wrong way around. Is this the slash is the other way around? Yeah, sorry, apologies. So it's cd Rob's, who was it? Whichever way we did the last time, not that one. Space stuff. Okay, there we go. Thanks, very good. So we are there, and we can see we have Apple. It was in the desktop, so we cd desktop. Well, as I said, it's case insensitive, it doesn't matter. Now, so CD stands for change directory, dir stands for directory, what's in it. So if I go dir to get a list of everything that's in there. So the one we're interested in is just repo. So I'll just do cd repo. And then what I'm in now, the repo, and you can see it's already got this master thing appears here. So that implies that it recognizes that this is a repo. So the first things first, I mean, you may have multiple repos and multiple GitHub accounts. It's always good to know where to look for. And so we are in a repository. The question is, which repository which GitHub account is this linked to? Now, obviously, if only one, it's fairly straightforward. But to find that out, you type git remote. So that's basically saying what remote is basically what are all the GitHub accounts are there in the cloud, where would I be looking for? And you just hit -V to list out all the remotes linked to this directory that's on this physical device. So I press return, and you can see there's the GitHub address there, the HTTP GitHub Robert Shee Unity repo. Okay, so that's the repo in question here. Okay, so if I want to, I'm going to open up that here now. Here's one I created. No, it's not. This is it. So we can see GitHub, Rob Sheehy, Unity repo. So I'll just go back to the main one here. There we go. So that's exactly the repo there. Except it's not exactly the repo. You can see in this repo, we have the folder for test. I'll just show you what we're talking about. So here's the repo when I open it. It has a folder for test. Now that was, if you remember correctly, was the just the completely empty Unity project that we worked with the last time. So that's that. So we created that. But when we look at GitHub, GitHub account is here. We see that the folder is still there, thanks be to God. That was 11 days ago. But we see 14 minutes ago, this worklog.txt was added. Okay, so work was done on the project. The project has changed. You can see we have the work log here. This is a work log. Did nothing. Okay, fine. So the work log is there. So this has updated, but so you could imagine you did some work in college and these files were sent up to GitHub. Now you're back home and you want to update. Now we could, if you wanted to, clone the entire thing in a brand new folder, and then you will, it will work perfectly. You don't have to go through any of what we're going through now, but it'll mean you'll have loads and loads and loads of copies as you go, and it's very easy to get wrong. What we would like to do is copy down our project, but only the changes. Okay, so in other words, the test which we can see is common to both. It shouldn't change that because we haven't done anything on that. The only thing that seems to have changed is this. So if we could get the changes, only bring this down and leave anything that's unchanged on the machine as we go. So here we are. I'm going to get rid of this now. We know we're linked to this. So what we want to do is fetch the changes. Okay, so let's get the changes. So as I said, if we get the changes, it's a kind of a two-stage process. The first part is we fetch them. Okay, now repository is this HTTP, so that's the web address that we have. Okay, but it's given a name, and the name that they give it is by default origin. Okay, where did it come from? So you can fetch the origin. Right, git fetch. Everything is a git command, so git fetch origin. And hopefully, yes, we see something has happened. Okay, now if nothing has happened, then it basically you'd be up to date effectively. It would just kind of, hopefully I'll do it again in a few minutes, and hopefully we see that it's up to date and nothing just nothing happens. Okay, sometimes it might say it's up to date depending on whether you're merging or whether you're fetching. Okay, so we fetched it, but if I go back to my repo now, nothing's changed. Okay, so what's happened? Okay, so a repository is not just the files, it's all files that you ever had in the project and all changes that you had in the project. So when it fetches it down, it fetches it and it puts all the changes into the kind of the .git folder that is hidden, that we don't talk about really, but it's in there, and the changes have been brought down. It knows about them. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to incorporate those changes onto the working version that we have on our computer at the moment. Okay, and to do that, that process is basically called a merging process. We merge the changes that are there, or the changes that we've brought down, with whatever we have on our system, or the physical system in front of us. So to do that, you just type git merge. Now, so obviously, like the first couple of times, I'd say it's the origin, but you have to be a bit more precise. So basically, what you're always going to merge is this fella at the end. Whatever comes out here at the end, that's pretty much what you type in for the merge. Okay, so in this case, it's origin/main. So when I press this, okay, so you can see it's saying fast forwarding. So there's obviously, fast forward usually means kind of bring it forward up to the most update situation, and you can see it's saying worklog.txt. So this looks good. Okay, so the proof's in the pudding. Let's have a look. So if we go back to our repo here, we can see worklog is in there. If we click on the worklog, we can see this is a worklog. Nothing done. exactly the same now. So now we are up to date with our repository up in the our GitHub account up in the cloud, and our machine is up to date. So the only thing that was actually changed there now the um, is the GitHub is the work log, the .text file. Nothing else happened. So we're good to go. So now we can do our work and continue as normal. Don't forget to push them back up at the end. Okay, and that's it. That's all there's to it. Okay, hope that was a help, and I'll talk to you soon.